YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with a way too early 2022 NFL mock draft. I do this every single year, the Sunday after the NFL draft, so really excited about it. It's a video just to kind of give you an idea, the prospects to look out for, the prospects that are projected to go round one, in my opinion. A lot of people always complain about the order in this video. You're not here for that, right? You're here just to see the prospects. And I didn't even come up with this order. It's not me predicting anything. We'll have those accurate predictions when the time is right for season predictions, not under a mock draft. But I use Super Bowl odds from PointsBet here. So to be honest, I don't really agree with the Super Bowl odds, but it doesn't matter because that's not this video. So really excited to take a look at these prospects. Follow our Twitter. We got grades going on for this 2021 draft for every single team. You guys are voting for that, and that will be used in a video. And we're just constantly talking about the NFL in general, updates on the channel. So make sure you check that out. It's at Goat House NFL, and we have a link pinned in the comments and a description, of course. Yeah, here it is. And then you can see it's all underway. The grades for this year's draft. Every single one is here. If you're looking for your team, so say your team's from the NFC West, click on the 49ers. The rest of the NFC West will be attached, and that goes for every single team there. The mock draft, again, you see at the top, it's on the screen. I did not come up with this order. We use PointsBet because this is not the time, the place for me to predict order the 2022 season, 2021-2022 season, So they had the Texans first pick, and that's what we're rolling with. Doesn't matter. I put Derek Stingley Jr. first overall, the cornerback from LSU, big-time name. We know this guy could be that next elite corner. We knew that since he was a true freshman at LSU. He's not necessarily my number one player at this way too early stage. I kind of like Kayvon Thibodeaux from Oregon there, the edge rusher. And I thought about him here, and the Texans could use pass rush. Lovie Smith, pretty strict scheme, kind of goes for those old school type pass rushers. You got to have the size and the strength. Thibodeaux has the strength, in my opinion, but maybe he's a little undersized for 4'3" defensive end, even though he can do it. He's pretty versatile, in my opinion. But yeah, I would think they would pass in this scenario, but it's really tough to tell at this stage. But they are looking for a corner. They were looking to get another starter maybe this year. You add Stingley, it's that lockdown corner on the outside. Lions picking 2, and I'll tell you this right now. At this specific moment, I'm not a huge Sam Howell guy. I'm not a huge any quarterback from this draft guy at this moment. Of course, one will surprise, maybe a couple. Some will get better. Howell could be this guy. He can definitely be this guy. He has the arm strength. It was weird. I've kind of declined on him a little bit watching tape on other players, defensive players playing North Carolina, offensive players for North Carolina. The arm strength, the wow ability, the big play ability stands out. Other than that, a lot of work to do. Gets a little wild, kind of misses some of the easier throws sometimes. Really tries to force things, won't take a sec. He wants to play hero ball to the extreme, so I do worry about that a little bit, but he's going to get better, and he could be this pick. People talk about if he was in this class, he would be a top 5 guys with those big guys. I don't really think so. You would probably win quarterback 6, maybe 5, maybe could have snuck in there. A lot of upside, though. If the Lions are picking 2, they would probably go for a guy like this. I don't think they would go for Spencer Rattler in that system, that Anthony Lynn system. I think they would go for Howell, that strong arm guy, try to replicate Herbert there from the Chargers possibly. So I think that would be the route they take. Bengals, if they're picking this early, maybe this time around they take a tackle. Evan Neal, another Alabama product, is supposed to be that top guy here. And the Jets picking 4, if they are picking this high, I'm really excited about this offense going forward, really am. Kind of going back to the Lions, and the Lions could be sneaky good too. I really love their draft this year. We'll get into all of our draft grades, but if you've been following with all my other videos, you guys know I love the Lions draft in 2021. The Jets, I felt good about Kayvon Thibodeaux here from Oregon because they could use another pass rusher opposite of Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson kind of that 4-3 end, and that opposite side in Robert Saleh's scheme. They kind of got that hybrid guy that could do a little bit of both. Could put his hand in the dirt, can stand up, rushes. You kind of a stand-up guy there, and that's what he is. That's what he is. So right now, this is my number 1 player in the draft. A long way to go. He's just that big-time impact player. We all knew about this guy for a long time. I mean, you see what he did against Elijah Vera Tucker in the Pac-12 championship game. So that he just shows up in those moments. Could put on a little strength. Yeah, I think for his size, he's plenty strong enough. But I would really like him with the Jets there. If if that actually happens. Safety in the top 5. Jaguars is tough because this ends up kind of being somewhat of a complete team right now. Sure, there are spots where they can get better, but they're young and they really don't have any holes. I'd say I really like the Andre Cisco pick. I think Kyle Hamilton and Andre Cisco, that's a duo right there. Hamilton can do a little bit of both. He's really got really good range in the back end. And then he's really good in the box, really good tackler. You can almost act like a free and almost, a strong and almost like a linebacker type at times as well. I know he was high on Ohio State's radar as a top recruit, so maybe Urban Meyer, a little familiar there from quite a few years ago. And that's kind of just a bonus at this point. Eagles go Spencer Rattler. I'm probably going to cause some controversy here in the comments section, but because one, they're going quarterback, and two, they're going Oklahoma quarterback. Right now, I'm not high on this quarterback class. I have quite a few that went. I got a sleeper guy that I really like, and there's a couple other sleepers I didn't have go that could sneak in. We'll talk about those guys. But they got a lot to prove. Rattler's a little wild right now. He kind of, hurt the team a little bit with some wild throws early in the year. He definitely can fix it, can calm it down, but a big play waiting to happen. He's pretty similar to Kyler Murray, out of Oklahoma. And you go back and think about, though, there's not too many systems that really fit Kyler Murray. If he didn't go one of the Cardinals, where would he have slipped through? And the Eagles kind of adjusting a little bit to Hurts. I think they'll be willing to do it. Rattler, a lot more upside. If they're picking 6, they probably need a quarterback. We heard they thought about it this year. I'm glad with the route they took. I actually kind of like their draft. But they thought about it. So I throw Rattler here. Again, at this time, I'm not in love with these quarterbacks up here. It's just my prediction, way too early prediction on where they would land. I like Drake Jackson a lot from USC. The Giants, if they're picking 7, they probably need to look into a quarterback. They're pretty damn stubborn, though. They probably wouldn't. But Drake Jackson's the top and pass rusher. I think he fits 4-3 end. I think he also fits 3-4 outside linebacker. Maybe a little more strength to him than Thibodeaux there, but I do like Thibodeaux better. But Jackson, I think the Giants would like him a lot. And then you got the Raiders taking Kyra Elam. Another guy I liked a lot, right when he came in as a true freshman here. Really stood out in that bowl game against Virginia. It was at the Orange Bowl. To me, really lengthy, really athletic. I expected a little more this past year, but I think he'll get there. High upside corner really has stood out to me at times. So the Raiders, it's picking up here, maybe I'm sure the quarterback talk would kind of come back up there. But take that corner there. Take him. Moving on to the next pick. This is my sleeper quarterback that I like a lot here, Malik Willis from Liberty. Yes, Liberty. They were outstanding this year. It's a big reason Malik Willis able to escape pressure, able to throw on the run, able to run if you need to. But a lot of you college football fans probably familiar with him. This is kind of that big name guy, really hyped up going to Auburn. Things didn't really work out, so I guess you question the off the field issues perhaps. But looks legit, kind of today's style NFL quarterback. I'm really excited to watch him more because he looked like he can be the best quarterback in his class. Because again, I'm not really thrilled with some of these quarterbacks. I like Malik Willis there quite a bit. So definitely was a guy. I know he's at Liberty, so anybody not familiar with his name, they're like, really, Liberty? But he's kind of a bigger name than that. Then the Giants got another pick from the Bears, remember, because the Justin Fields trade. Christian Harris, the linebacker from Alabama, another Alabama product. I think he can fit 4-3 outside. I think he can fit 3-4 inside. Probably play inside for the Giants. For the Panthers, George Karlaftis, the edge rusher from Purdue, not talked about enough as well. I like the Panthers' defense. I like their pass rush for this year. Hassan Reddick was a 1-year deal, so maybe pair Karlaftis in this scenario. But we're mainly just taking a look at the prospects in the order they can come off the board almost. We are looking for fits, though. Maybe pair him with Brian Burns. But I was actually watching Derek Barnes this year on tape. I think it was when I was watching 2019 tape. Karlaftis is really, because this really wasn't a big name for me before. He was really standing out. I think he's really a 4-3 defensive end, really fits the Panthers there. Perhaps it's a lot of teams. So that's a guy to look out for. Very solid 4-3 defensive end from Purdue. One with the running back, maybe a little early for a running back, but I thought it fit. I do really like Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M. Texas A&M's got a room full of running backs over there to watch out for, but Spiller got good vision, quickness, twitch, speed, breaks tackles. He's got everything, all of the above to be RB1 here. The Falcons, it was very surprising they didn't take a running back this year. They'll be looking for one next year for sure. So they go that route. Vikings go Josh Jobs, so now they didn't really go corner this year. They do like some of the young guys they got, and they got Patrick Peterson, 1-year deal. So they go Job, the cornerback from Alabama, really on everyone's radar last year, kind of filling in from Trevon Diggs this past year, and definitely can continue to rise here. Cardinals, I definitely think they'll be in the market for offensive line next year. They got some solid guys here and there, but I think next year's the year where they're really going to realize they need an offensive line. That's Rasheed Walker from Penn State. Could be a high-end tackle here for them. Zion Nelson. So, for the Steelers, they still need more offensive linemen, but mainly just looking at the prospects here, not really fully on the needs, but they take the Miami tackle. And then there's John Mechie, the third Alabama receiver, the next one up. He had a fantastic year, and that's kind of sharing with the other guys. I know Waddle got hurt, and he proved that he can produce even more. Really good downfield, really good over the middle of the field as well. Titans, surprisingly, didn't go receiver that early this year. They did get Reynolds, but he's going to be a free agent next year. Mechie, another good receiver class. Maybe not as good at this point as this past year, but could be a number of guys there battling Mechie perhaps. And here's one right here, Chris Olave from Ohio State. Really reminds me of Will Fuller a lot. I think Fuller a little faster. But he's going to get open. He's going to catch the ball. He's got some good speed, good twitch. The Patriots grab that, maybe looking for the number one receiver. Chargers go Zach Harrison, the edge rusher from Ohio State. Another Ohio State edge rusher kind of keep an eye on. He can definitely break out this year. DeMarvin Leal, defensive tackle for Texas A&M. Very impressive combination of athleticism and size, strength. The Cowboys could use him on the interior. A couple corners come off the board. You go Andrew Booth from Clemson. You talk about Kendrick was such a big profile guy, getting kicked out, a lot of off the field issues. He could be a first rounder if he wants to be. But go Booth. He has the traits. Look out for this. Eagles grab their corner, and the Eagles have this pick from the Dolphins. So a lot of swapping going on here. Mikael Wright from Oregon. The Jets ended up taking 2 Oregon guys. So maybe that's a long shot, but this is how it's not on purpose. It's how the board fell. We're always trying to find those under the radar guys that just end up being first rounders and no one was talking about them. Wright's been on our radar for a bit here. We got an Oregon insider that's been hyping him up much better apparently than the corners that came out for Oregon this year. So high upside guy, maybe a tiny bit undersized. That's kind of the thing there. But so I'm kind of just going a little bold here, banking on him kind of being what he's supposed to be here because we know there's going to be those guys. Jaquari Roberson from Wake Forest. Nobody talking about this guy. This guy's an absolute stud this year. You think it's Sage Surratt's supposed to be their best receiver who came out this year, little in terms of the speed lacking. That's why he didn't get drafted. But Roberson is the stud from that group, has the speed, has the length, has the after the catch ability. So that's definitely a guy to look out for. No one talking about him. Keaton Slovis, I'm not a huge Keaton Slovis guy. I think maybe 10 years ago, he kind of fits the NFL. I mean, I guess he can move a little bit, throw on the run a little bit, kind of has those wow moments, here and there, just not really, I don't know. I just don't see enough from him, but he can continue to grow. Remember, he got thrown in this situation 2 years ago. The Colts, I'm not necessarily saying they're going to need a quarterback here, and the Colts might have to give this pick to the Eagles. That's why it was as tough to do, too. This could be the Eagles' pick. The Eagles could have 3, so it just depends on how much Carson Wentz plays. I think, I had to slide, even though I'm not really on him about a first rounder right now, as a first rounder at the moment, he needs to show me more. I had to slide him in here somewhere. If the Colts have their pick, they're probably Colts aren't a team they're not afraid to, if they feel the need to, grab a quarterback almost as often as possible, really. So I thought it made sense. I'm not trying to make a statement here with the Colts and the quarterback. Brenton Cox from Florida kind of could be that. Maybe Micah Parsons this year. That versatile linebacker. You can play inside, you can play outside, you can blitz him, you can rush him. Just that versatile, high motor, all over the place linebacker. Broncos don't have too many needs, but that they could use that. We thought maybe they would take Parsons this year. They'd take a guy like Cox this next year, perhaps. Next group of picks, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver from Ohio State, big name guy, big name recruit. I wasn't overly impressed. I thought kind of on the overhyped side, really. I thought Justin Fields was kind of making the play, for him. I thought Olave was the better receiver, but we know he's going to be a lot better. He's going to continue to grow. Could be a first round pick. Browns, not a whole lot of needs. They could be looking out for the future here because OBJ, Landry probably not going to be around forever. Another running back. We were surprised the Dolphins didn't grab one a little earlier. Kyron Williams from Notre Dame. Good mixture of quickness, speed, and looks a little on the smaller side, but pretty damn strong for that type of running back. Can catch the ball very, very well as well. So, and last year was really his first year playing, even though he'll be eligible this year. So that's a guy to look out for. I think the Dolphins would be a team that likes him. Justin Ross, first round talent all day, could be the best receiver from this class. But as of now, but had some health concerns, obviously, which held them out last year, so that was pretty tough. Lions could be looking for a receiver early. They have 2 picks. They got one from the Rams with the Jared Goff trade. So, yeah, that I think that if he pans out, stays healthy, that could be the guy there. Tyler Davis, fantastic interior defensive lineman from Clemson. The difference when he was in, when he was out, ridiculous. Stops scoring at an extremely high level. The Ravens are very good at making sure their defensive line is ready to go, recouping before it's too late, early stage. They're set right now. They got some guys aging a little bit up there. Next year could be the year. I love this fit for the Ravens. Packers could grab their inside linebacker here in Ventrell Miller, another Florida linebacker, some studs there. Florida's got some studs on defense, and they had a guy like Sean Davis drafted this year who I liked. But they were really struggling, so that's kind of the concern there. The actual defense itself is struggling, but they got some studs out there. Another running back, a lot of good running backs here. I'm not saying they're all for sure going to go first round or anything, but Breece Hall, who led the nation in rushing yards there for Iowa State, I think he would kind of fit the Bills. The Bills got a number of guys on their team, but they are still looking for that true number one. Maybe one of those guys develops, but not a lot of needs. They could be a team that does this. Buccaneers, not a lot of needs. Go Jordan Battle, one of those safeties from Alabama, maybe to pair Winfield for the junior. And the Chiefs, another receiver here, George Pickens, wide receiver from Georgia. I think a balanced receiver along this, very good along the sideline, can go deep underneath, pretty strong after the catch. So the Chiefs can grab another Georgia receiver to pair with Hardman there, so that's a possibility. Other quarterbacks that could go. Desmond Ritter really stood out last year, one of the better players in the country. I do at times that does feel like he's a run first kind of guy. He wants to throw first, but a lot of read option. Where does he fit? But if he elevates his game as a passer, which he was a good passer, it just didn't really show that he is that passer. He can sneak in the first. I'm honestly might like him than a couple guys I had go, maybe like one guy. But kind of just is more on a prediction level. And you got De'Aaron King to look out for from Miami. Fast, big playability, a little inconsistent with the accuracy, maybe a little undersized. And then you got Florida's quarterback, Emory Jones, who they actually use with Trask. They would take Trask out, put Jones in, was highly recruited, big playability. The accuracy could be a little better, but, he didn't have that time to prove us yet now and prove it to us yet. Now he is. So that's definitely a guy to look out for, a guy that I very easily could have snuck in here. But so these are really just the players to look out for. There's going to be those surprise guys. There's even guys in here are going to get better. Maybe they'll decline. Something bad will happen. Who knows? Hopefully not. But again, the order, it says at the top, it's based off points bets, updated. So I just found updated Super Bowl odds, not too many of them out there after the draft. And I just didn't feel the need to predict essentially the season with a mock draft, because that is for another time. You're here for a mock draft. You're not here to see season predictions. So probably something that gets on me a little bit is when people come to these videos just complaining about that. You're not here for that, So if I see that, you're on my shit list, but we'll get through it, I guess. That's going to do it for this one. We'll have plenty of mock drafts throughout the actual season, and then further into the offseason as well. But this will probably be the last one for a while. But we'll get into our team-by-team grades, all that, who won the draft for 2021. And then we'll get into our get ready for the season, the actual NFL season predictions, all that. So a lot ahead here at the Goat House. Please like, subscribe. Make sure you follow that Twitter. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.